Hello,
Hey Z, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. How did your exams go?
Um, uh, the first exams were on Tuesday, starting with Chinese in the morning and maths in the afternoon. On Wednesday morning, there was English, and today we had our morality and law, which is the thing about politics and something like that.
Okay.
And in the in like 11 a.m. and our chemistry and physics exam is at 1 p.m.
Okay. All
It's
right.
two subjects done in one exam.
All right. How do you think you did overall?
Uh, my math, I didn't do well in maths. I got 125 out of 150, which is pretty low
Hmm.
by my standards.
Okay. Um,
Um,
go ahead.
and the Chinese was 126 of 150.
All right.
It's okay, pretty well, pretty good.
Okay.
And English is 134.5 out of 140.
Excellent. Good job. All right.
It could
So,
have been higher.
uh-huh. What was the area that, or what was the problems, or what was the area that you missed?
In which subject?
Oh, in English.
Oh, there was mostly it was just the ending essay.
Oh,
I
so it was
I
in the
did it wasn't too meaningful.
okay, so it was in the written area of the test. You
The
had to
writing
write.
area, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, well, and it's because you just didn't have a strong ending. It was like pretty much the end of your
Yes,
paragraph.
I didn't have a strong ending, so it wasn't that meaningful because I was trying to avoid mistakes when I used uh more complex words and stuff. So I use mostly simpler sentences and words.
Oh, okay. What was the written part about? What was the essay on?
Um, Besides school, I also pay attention to blank.
Uh, okay. And overall, not you. Of course, you don't have to read the whole. Don't read your work. But what was it? What was your?
I wrote about swimming. I
Oh,
said it makes my studies better and made my body stronger. Then
okay.
my teacher told me you could write been like this, like swimming lets me know there are many difficulties in life and we have to our minds have to be strong to overcome them and something like that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's much better than my morale.
Mm, okay. And just out of curiosity, if you remember in your math, what were the areas, or what areas did you not do well in?
Um, some problems because I didn't see the problem too clearly and
Oh,
I did kind of too fast and missed some key factors in the question.
oh, okay. Okay. So
And I spent too much time on one or two problems and didn't have enough time to do the final one, which is the hardest.
so it was more, so your tests for the most part are timed. You only have a certain amount of
Yes,
time. Okay.
100 minutes for
Okay.
maths and Chinese, 90 minutes for English,
Mm, okay.
and and I think another 100 minutes for physics and chemistry.
Mm, okay. Okay. Well, no, I mean, not bad. I mean, really good with English, though. That's good. Um, but and then when are your next exams? I know these are like midterms, so nothing probably after the first of the year, right? Or will you have any other big tests before the end of the year?
I think in the beginning of December.
Oh, so just in a few weeks, you'll have.
Yes, in 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, at least that's over. Uh,
Yes,
anything going on for you this weekend? Are you gonna go? Are you gonna swim?
yes, hopefully,
Yeah.
because swimming is is one of my key factors in the PE exam. The
What do you mean? You have to pass an exam
uh
swimming?
like like the high school entrance exam sort of thing. There is a test for nearly every subject. In PE, you can choose different types of sports, like soccer, basketball, ping pong, volleyball, and badminton, tennis, and that's for the balls. And there are also like swimming, running,
Uh-huh.
and jumpings, doing gymnastics, and
Wow. Okay. So you have
and
to for high school, you have to qualify for something like that. I mean, you have to be good in
um
some physical.
no, well, they when you do well, that you get points or scores. So if
Well,
you
in
add
that
up all the scores from each subject, and is your final mark, is your final score. Yes.
okay, so you're saying you have to be good at something in PE to help you to get you some points.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Is there a maximum amount of points you can get in PE?
I forgot.
Okay,
But I
there
think
is.
it's less than 100.
Okay. So that helps you with your overall score with
Yes,
all combined. Okay, so if you were, I can't even imagine it, but if you were one of those students who just didn't do anything, didn't participate in any type of physical fitness, you just, I don't want to say you're not good at it, but let's just say you don't play it or you don't practice anything. You come in with a zero toward PE, which means you have to really do well in all the other subjects to escalate your score.
yes, that's
Ah,
correct.
wow. Okay. But if you did extremely well in something physical like swimming or tennis or any of that, you could possibly get up to 100 points, and that would definitely aid you if you were kind of weak in some other area, like in math or science or
That's
something.
true.
Ah, okay. Well, that would be great. And can you and it has to be just like in one sport. It has to be like in
There are different categories, and each category has a number of sports to choose from.
Mhm.
Like
Okay.
there are big balls and small balls. And small balls include badminton, tennis, and ping pong. The big
Okay.
balls contain basketball,
Okay.
soccer, and volleyball, like that.
Okay. So, but 100 is the max you can get. 100 if
I'm not sure.
okay. And so let's say it is let's say 100 is the max you can get in physical fitness and PE. And let's say like you did swimming and maybe you do really well or maybe in ping pong or basketball, doesn't matter small or big ball. Can you get like a 60 in swimming and a 40 in ping pong, and then you can combine them and then you get your 100?
Um, each category has different full scores. Like I think one of them is three. Like
Uh,
so that's why I think the PE full score is about 60.
okay.
30 is in the school, like in regular classes and stuff. And the other 30 points, you have to take the formal tests.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. And when you say you have to take it as a formal test, the other 30, that's like in, well, is that like in writing, in a written
No,
format?
no, no.
Okay, so it's
You have
exam
to go
participation.
to a place where they have special equipment,
Uh-huh.
and you have to do a test on like ping pong. You have to play it.
Okay, okay. And so like for you, yours is swimming. Yours would
Yes,
be
maybe.
okay,
It's
okay,
a kind of official. It's officially. It's an official exam. I mean,
okay. And you saying an unofficial exam?
an official
Oh,
exam.
an official exam. Okay, okay. All right. So yeah, would that be? I mean, so let's say 60 points is the max you can get, but that's still that's good, especially if you're if you're athletic and you're you can play sports and do all these different things. That's you definitely have to try your best at that one to get 60 extra points on your side. I think that's good. Oh, that'd be fun. I wish we had that in our school when when I was going. We didn't have that. That'd have been good. But hey, in your college, I don't know if you know, but in your universities there in China, uh, is it required to take one or two semesters of a physical fitness type of sport, some kind of activity, like for physical education, in order to graduate from,
Uh, um,
you know?
we have to enroll in the army at some point.
Okay, so yeah, I know you have to do that, but other
That's
than,
physical, I guess.
okay, so that's what you have to do, but you don't have to take some other kind of PE courses or anything like that to physical fitness. Yeah, because maybe that could probably be equivalent, though I think the sports would be much fun. Uh, in universities in the US, you have to take 2 semesters. From what I understand, most universities are like this. You have to take 2 semesters of some kind of physical fitness course. Yeah, in order, and that just counts as like part of your general education uh, in college. Definitely not not your major, whatever you're doing, but you just have to take 2, and it doesn't matter when you take them, just as long as you do it before you graduate. So we have all different things. We had bowling actually um, in one of the universities, and I took fencing. I took racquetball and fencing. Those were my 2. But but we don't have that mandatory, like military. So maybe that's why you have that. Maybe that's if that's mandatory for you, that's probably the maybe that's where your physical fitness criteria comes in. Interesting. Okay, but that with the army or the military training you have to do, that's usually right when you get into before you enter or before you start taking your courses at college. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. So you don't do it during your 4 or 5 years of going to the university. You do it like right before you start your freshman year.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any what else is going on? For
Um, Besides the midterms exam, really nothing much.
nothing? Okay. You see any movies or planning on to or coming?
Mm, no, not
Oh,
not yet.
yeah. Okay. And you're not doing any kind of outings or field trips or something like that? No. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, all right. Anything else?
Um, Today there is a game between the Indianapolis Colts and the New York Jets
No.
in
Okay.
NFL.
Okay.
The
That's
Colts,
today. Mhm.
yes, there was a game. and the
Okay.
Colts won 45-30.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's a high scoring game.
That is. That is. Uh, what about this weekend? When's Dallas playing?
Dallas is playing the Denver Broncos. Dallas is
Ooh,
6-1,
okay.
one of the best in the league.
Okay. And that's on Sunday?
Yes, Sunday.
Okay. All right. Hopefully they'll win. And
Yes.
what about my Bucks? When
The Buck
what about my Bucks? Where are they when they playing? Is that Sunday?
um
That's okay if you don't.
yes. Nope. I think they're having a bye.
Okay. And how about my Niners?
The Niners are playing the Arizona Cardinals, who are not undefeated anymore.
Oh, okay. All right. Where are they playing? Are they playing home?
Yes.
Mm, okay. All right. Well, let's root for San Francisco. Okay. Um, okay. Hey, you last week you mentioned, and I'm not familiar with them, but with this, I'm not sure if this is what you're talking about. You're talking about a book called or seeing the Warriors, right?
Yes.
Is that like a series of books?
Yes. Very long series, like at least 7 seasons. Yes.
Ah, okay. So are you into those? Have you read all of them?
No. I only read about the first few books.
Okay. So like the first one is that Into the Wild?
Yes, that's
Oh,
correct.
so you read that one.
I read at least the first 6 books and a few books after that.
Oh, okay. Okay. And do you have to read them in order to understand what's going on? Do they pick up?
I think so.
Okay. That's
There are
kind of
lots of smaller books like comics and stuff that fill in some of the lore, some of the lore.
okay. And do you read those as well? Or do you read the
No.
okay, so just the books. So like Fire and Ice, Forest of Secrets, stuff like that. Rising
Yes.
Storm. Okay. All right. So you read all of those. Okay. And did you read those in English or did you read those in Chinese?
English.
English. Okay.
Some of my classmates know about these books.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking it was some other like some type of war book or something when I went to look at it. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this series at all. Um, but that's cool. I mean, so they're how long are the stories? Like
Pretty long.
they are pretty okay. Okay. And did you read these? Do you have the tangible book or do you read it digitally?
I actually listened to the audiobook, but I have the paperback in my home.
Oh, okay. So you actually okay, so you have the book, but you've been listening to them.
Yes, I prefer to do that this way.
Oh, instead of reading them with your eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Actually though, see, audio is all right because if you're doing something like I started many times I'll watch like I don't know a series or something on Netflix if I'm doing some kind of manual work on my with my hands like a crochet quilting something like that instead of music just because I'll look up at it occasionally and then look back down and and do continue on with crochet or whatever. But many times you can miss stuff that way if you're looking down and you miss a scene or something that happened or something like that. So um, yeah, I just started doing the audio myself where it's like, oh, this instead of music, because I do love music, but instead of music, uh, just listening to audiobooks and stuff. And it's relaxing and you're paying attention because and it's easy to do because you can look down at your work, what you're doing, manually and you can constantly hear something. So it's actually that's pretty cool too. All right. But you like this series, yeah? You like this Warrior Cat?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's pretty enthralling.
Okay. What is, I mean, like, what is the, briefly kind of just tell me, like, what's the whole basis of the book? I mean, is it like, what's the era? What's the time period? And they
The
just like,
time period is around the modern age.
okay.
Um, you can never really tell, but there are cars, and I
Okay.
think modern cars. The story, at least the first few books, are set in a forest in the countryside.
Okay.
There are four clans in the forest:
Mhm.
Thunder Clan, River Clan, Wind Clan, and Shadow Clan.
Okay.
And the main character is a cat, which was once a pet cat. It was a pet cat in the beginning of the book called
Mhm.
Rusty.
Mhm.
Then when he likes to go out of his garden into the woods to see the fresh air and hunt for mice or something.
Mhm.
Um, Once when he first did that, he met a clan warrior, actually a clan apprentice, I should say,
Mhm. Mhm.
from Thunder Clan, and he then met two warriors and the leader of Thunder Clan. After hearing about all these stories, the clan asked Rusty to join their clan.
Mhm.
Rusty thought about it and said yes. So the next day, Rusty is brought into the clan and became a became an apprentice called Firepaw. And he mm, then in the next few books he went on training with other cats to become a warrior, Fireheart. At the same time, there's lots of evil forces in the forest.
Mhm.
Um, in the first book, it's primarily Shadow Clan,
Okay. Now, here's a question.
and
Was he, and now that he's in the forest and he's an apprentice and all that, does he ever retreat and go back to a domestic life or go back to
no,
a home? Okay, so he leaves the
no,
home. He's emerged to the forest, and that's his home now.
yes, that pretty
Okay.
much
Oh,
because in the forest it's wild and free.
okay. All right. And so are and then all these cats, I'm assuming these are all other cats that are, part of these different clans. They're all just wild feral type of cats. And they're all like domestic cats at one
They're
point.
not domestic. No. They're
Okay,
most. I think 99% of them are born in the wild.
okay, so they're like feral cats. Okay.
However, they are clever enough to set up camp, and there's even a position called a medicine cat, like the doctor.
Okay.
So it's kind of a fantasy, because how could a cat know medicine?
Exactly. And
And
then
there's also Star Clan, which is like heaven.
oh,
Um, it's the place in the sky. All the stars are fallen warriors, and they sometimes speak to the clan cats for offering them guidance and wise words.
okay. Now, do any of these cats in any of these books, do they encounter humans?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
they call them two legs because we walk on two legs.
Okay. You'll hear that in Animal Farm. Pretty,
Really?
yeah. Um. Uh. Okay. Well, and then one more question. And so, in all these books, they're all just they talk about. I guess they would be like just different adventures that these cats.
Uh,
But you got a main character that stays in all the books.
yes, it's kind of a continuous
Okay. So
sequence.
Rusty, he's like Rusty like the main character?
In at least the first six books.
Oh.
Uh, Rusty becomes Firepaw, then Fireheart, and
Mhm.
finally he becomes leader of ThunderClan
Oh, okay.
in
Okay.
Firestar.
All right. That's cool. Well, that's good. That series then. I like that. And
And it's full of,
yeah, good.
I think, betrayal and bloodshed as well in some parts.
Okay. And how many books, as far as you know, are in this whole series?
At least 40.
40. Wow. Okay. And and how many have you read out of the 40?
Less than 10.
Oh, okay. But you would continue if you have access to them, you would continue reading those.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
Okay. Interesting. That's good. Yeah, I see it on the. I'm looking on Google, and I can see like they're set in, there. A lot of them are set in or not set, sold in sets, I guess, because you can get them like six at a time, things like that. They look like they're in a box or something. Cool. All right. Okay. Well, good. Anything else about those? I see that. Yeah,
It
there's.
was written by Aaron Hunter, which is not a real person, but a group of different writers. Like,
uh, Aaron Hunter and Dan Jolly. That's what that's what it says on here. It says authors are Aaron.
there's at least 5 authors under the same name, Aaron Hunter.
Yeah, and the genre is fantasy and young adult fiction, and they came out in 2003 to present. And there's a name of a bunch of characters on here. Gray Stripe, Tiger Star, Jay Feather, Blue Star, Ravenpaw, Hollyleaf.
Raven, I believe. Ravenpaw.
Oh yeah, Ravenpaw, Hollyleaf, Longtail. You know all of these. Silver
Most
String.
of these, some of these are in the later books.
Okay. Bramble Claw. Okay. Broken Star, Dove Wing, Ivy Pool, Lion Blaze, Crow Feather. All right, cool. There's a lot more. All right.
Yes,
Okay,
there
well,
are
thank
many, many characters.
you. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And the lore gets deeper and deeper as you go on.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen these, but they wouldn't have those here, and in Ecuador. I just when I used to go into Barnes and Noble when I in the U.S., I would see all those different, not just trilogy, but new sets like this. Okay. All
And
right.
the series is still ongoing as of now.
All right. And is this the series here? Did they ever make it into any kind of television series or anything like that?
Not yet, but there are fan-made animations on everywhere.
Say that again.
There are fan-made animations everywhere,
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
and
Cool.
they're read all over the world.
Yeah, I'm pretty. It says the people. I guess it's more of a teen book, so it's probably like ages of like 12 or 18 or something like that. I mean, is that pretty much the age group of people that are reading them, or
Right.
or is it or is it like Harry Potter?
It's suitable for all ages of people.
Yeah, but here it says it's toward teens. So I'm just wondering, how Harry Potter. I knew many adults that read all those and they really liked them, but then there was a lot of young kids that really liked Harry Potter, like 12 and 13. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You ready to read a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's start with we'll finish at least chapter one, but I think we can get through a lot two as well. All right. Start at that bottom paragraph there. I think we left off there at Old Major Clear just wrote.
Old Major cleared his throat and began to sing. As he had said, his voice was hoarse, but he sang well enough, and it was a string tune, something between Clementine and
La cucaracha.
La Cucaracha. The words ran, beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, hearken to my joyful tidings of the golden future time. Soon or late, this day is coming. Tyrant man shall be overthrown, and the fruitful fields of England shall be trod by beasts alone. Reins shall vanish from our noses, and the harness from our back. Bit and spur shall rust forever. Cruel whips no more shall crack. Riches more than mine can picture, wheat and barley, oats and hay, clover, beans, and mango wurzels shall be ours upon that day. Bright will shine the fields of England, pure shall its waters be, sweeter yet shall blow its breezes on the day that sets us free. From that day we all must labor, though we die before it break. Cows and horses, geese and turkeys, all must toil for freedom's sake. Beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of every land and clime, hearken well and spread my tidings of the golden future time.
Okay.
The singing of this song threw the animals into the wildest excitement. Almost before Major had reached the end, they had begun singing it for themselves. Even the stupidest of them had already picked up the tune and a few of the words. And as for the clever ones, such as the pigs and dogs, they had the entire song by heart within a few minutes. And then, after a few preliminary tries, the whole farm burst out into Beasts of England in tremendous unison. The cows lowed it, the dogs whined it, the sheep bleated it, the horses whined it, the ducks quacked it. They were so delighted with the song that they sang it right through 5 times in succession, and might have continued singing it all night if they had not been interrupted. Unfortunately, the uproar awoke Mr. Jones, who sprang out of bed, making sure that there was a fox in the yard. He seized the gun, which always stood in a corner of his bedroom, and let fly a charge of number 6, shot into the darkness. The pellets buried themselves in the wall of the barn, and the meeting broke up hurriedly. Everyone fled to his own sleeping place. The birds jumped onto their perches. The animals settled down in the straw, and the whole farm was asleep in a moment.
Okay. And there, that was chapter 1. Okay.
Chapter 2. 3 nights later, old Major died peacefully in his sleep. His body was buried at the foot of the orchard. This was early in March. During the next 3 months, there was much secret activity. Major's speech had given to the more intelligent animals on the farm a completely new outlook on life. They did not know when the rebellion predicted by Major would take place. They had no reason for thinking that it would be within their own lifetime, but they saw clearly that it was their duty to prepare for it. The work of teaching and organizing the others fell naturally upon the pigs, who were generally recognized as being the cleverest of the animals. Preeminent among the pigs were 2 young boars named Snowball and Napoleon, whom Mr. Jones was bringing up for sale. Napoleon was a large, rather fierce-looking Berkshire boar, the only Berkshire on the farm, not much of a talker, but with a reputation for getting his own way. Snowball was a more vivacious,
Vivacious.
vivacious pig than Napoleon, quicker in speech, and more inventive, but was not considered to have the same depth of character. All the other male pigs on the farm were porkers. The best known among them was a small fat pig named Squealer, with very round cheeks, twinkling eyes, nimble movements, and a shrill voice. He was a brilliant talker, and when he was arguing some difficult point, he had a way of skipping from side to side and whisking his tail, which was somehow very persuasive. The others said of Squealer that he could turn back into white,
Black
turn
into white.
black, turn black into white. These three had elaborated old Major's teachings into a complete system of thought, to which they given to which they gave the name of animalism. Several nights a week, after Mr. Jones was asleep, they held secret meetings in the barn and expounded the principles of animalism to the others. At the beginning, they met with much stupidity and apathy. Apathy. Some
Right.
of the animals talked of the duty of loyalty to Mr. Jones, whom they referred to as master, or made elementary remarks, such as Mr. Jones feeds us. If he were gone, we should starve to death. Others asked such questions as, why should we care what happens after we are dead? Or if this rebellion is to happen anyway, what difference does it make whether we work for it or not? And the pigs had great difficulty in making them see that this was contrary to the spirit of animalism. The stupidest questions of all were asked by Molly, the white mare. The very first question she asked Snowball was, will there still be sugar after the rebellion? No, said Snowball firmly. We have no means of making sugar on this farm. Besides, you do not need sugar. You will have all the oats and hay you want. And shall I still be allowed to wear ribbons in my mane? Asked Molly. Comrade, said Snowball, these ribbons that you are so devoted to are the badge of slavery. Can you not understand that liberty is worth more than ribbons? Molly agreed, but she did not sound very convinced. The pigs had an even harder struggle to counteract the lies put about by Moses, the tame raven. Moses, who was Mr. Jones' special pet, was a spy and a tale-bearer, but he was also a clever talker. He claimed to know of the existence of a mysterious country called Sugar Candy Mountain, to which all animals went after when they died. It was situated somewhere up in the sky, a little distance beyond the clouds, Moses said. In Sugar Candy Mountain, it was Sunday 7 days a week. Clover was in season all the day around, and lump sugar and linseed cake grew on the hedges. The animals hated Moses because he told tales and did no work, but some of them believed in Sugar Candy Mountain, and the pigs had to argue very hard to persuade them that there was no such place. The most faithful disciples were the two cart horses, Boxer and Clover. These two had great difficulty in thinking anything out for themselves, but having once accepted the pigs as their teachers, they absorbed everything that they were told, and passed it on to the other animals by simple arguments. They were unfailing in their attendance at the secret meetings in the barn, and led the singing of Beasts of England, with which the meetings always ended. Now, as it turned out, the rebellion was achieved much earlier and more easily than anyone had expected. In past years, Mr. Jones, although a hard master, had been a capable farmer, but of late he had fallen on evil days. He had become much disheartened after losing money in a lawsuit, and had taken to drinking more than was good for him. For whole days at a time he would lounge in his Windsor chair in the garden, reading the newspapers, drinking, and occasionally feeding Moses, on crusts of bread soaked in beer. His men were idle and dishonest. The fields were full of weeds. The buildings wanted roofing. The hedges were neglected, and the animals were underfed. June came, and the hay was almost ready for cutting. On Midsummer's Eve, which was a Saturday, Mr. Jones went into Willingdon and got so drunk at the Red Lion that he did not come back till midday on Sunday. The man had milked the cows in the early morning and then had gone out rabbiting, without bothering to feed the animals. When Mr. Jones got back, he immediately went to sleep on the drawing-room sofa with the news of the world over his face, so that when evening came, the animals were still unfed. At last they could stand it no longer. One of the cows broke in the door of the store shed with her horn, and all the animals began to help themselves from the bins. It was just then that Mr. Jones woke up. The next moment he and his four men were in the store shed with whips in their hands, lashing out in all directions. This was more than the hungry animals could bear. With one accord, though nothing of the kind had been planned beforehand, they flung themselves upon their tormentors. Jones and his men suddenly found themselves being butted and kicked from all sides. The situation was quite out of their control. They had never seen animals behave like this before, and this sudden uprising of creatures whom they were used to thrashing and maltreating, just as they chose, frightened them almost out of their wits. After only a moment or two, they gave up trying to defend themselves and took to their heels. A minute later, all five of them were in full flight down the cart track that led to the main road, with the animals pursuing them in triumph. Mrs. Jones looked out of the bedroom window, saw what was happening, hurriedly flung a few possessions into a carpet bag, and slipped out on the farm by another way. Moses sprang off his perch and flapped after her, croaking loudly. Meanwhile, the animals had chased Jones and his men out onto the road and slammed the 5-bar gate behind them. And so, almost before they knew what was happening, the rebellion had been successfully carried through. Jones was expelled, and the manor farm was theirs. For the first few minutes, the animals could hardly believe in their good fortune. Their first act was to gallop in a body around the boundaries of the farm, as though to make quite sure that no human being was hiding anywhere upon it. Then they raced back to the farm buildings to wipe out the last traces of Jones' hated reign. The harness room at the end of the stables was broken open. The bits, the nose rings, the dog chains, the cruel knives with which Mr. Jones had used to castrate the pigs and lambs were all flung down the well. The reins, the halters, the blinkers, the degrading nose bags were thrown onto the rubbish fire, which was burning in the yard. So were the whips. All the animals
Caper.
capered with joy when they saw the whips going up in flames. Snowball also threw on to the fire the ribbons with which the horses' manes and the tails had usually been decorated on market days. Ribbons, he said, should be considered as clothes, which are the mark of a human being. All animals should go naked. When Boxer heard this, he fetched a small straw hat, which he wore in summer to keep the flies out of his ears, and flung it onto the fire with the rest. In a very little while, the animals had destroyed everything that reminded them of Mr. Jones. Napoleon had then led them back to the store shed and served out a double ration of corn to everybody, with 2 biscuits for each dog. Then they sang Beasts of England from end to end 7 times running, and after that they settled down for the night and slept as they had never slept before. But they woke at dawn as usual, and suddenly remembering the glorious thing that had happened, they all raced out into the pasture together. A little way down the pasture there was a knoll that commanded a view of most of the farm. The animals rushed to the top of it, and gazed round them in the clear morning light. Yes, it was theirs. Everything that they could see was theirs. In the ecstasy of that thought, they gamboled round and round. They hurled themselves into the air in great leaps of excitement. They rolled in the dew. They propped mouthfuls of the sweet summer grass. They kicked up clods of the black earth and snuffed its rich scent. Then they made a tour of inspection of the whole farm and surveyed with speechless admiration to the plowland, the hayfield, the orchard, the pool, the spinney. It was as though they had never seen these things before, and even now they could hardly believe that it was all their own. Then they filed back to the farm buildings, and then halted in the silence outside the door of the farmhouse. That was theirs too, but they were frightened to go inside. After a moment, however, Snowball and Napoleon butted the door open with their shoulders, and the animals entered in single file, walking with the utmost care for fear of disturbing anything. They tiptoed from room to room, afraid to speak above a whisper, and gazing with a kind of wave awe at the unbelievable luxury, at the beds with their feather mattresses, the looking glasses, the horsehair sofa, the Brussels carpet, the lithograph of Queen Victoria over the drawing room mantelpiece. They were just coming down the stairs when Molly was discovered to be missing. Going back, the others found that she had remained behind in the best bedroom. She had taken a piece of blue ribbon from Mrs. Jones' dressing table and was holding it against her shoulder and admiring herself in the glass in a very foolish manner. The others reproached her sharply, and they went outside. Some hams hanging in the kitchen were taken out for burial, and the barrel of beer in the scullery was stove in with a kick from Boxer's hoof. Otherwise, nothing in the house was touched. A unanimous resolution was passed on the spot that the farmhouse should be preserved as a museum. All were agreed that no animal must ever live there. The animals had their breakfast, and then Snowball and Napoleon called them together again. Comrades, said Snowball, it is 6:30 and we have a long day before us. Today we begin the hay harvest, but there's another matter that must be attended to first. The pigs now revealed that during the past 3 months they had taught themselves to read and write from an old spelling book, which had belonged to Mr. Jones's children and which had been thrown out on the rubbish heap. Napoleon sent for pots of black and white paint and led the way down to the five-barred gate that gave onto the main road. Then Snowball, for it was Snowball who was best at writing, took a brush between the two knuckles of his trotter, painted out Manor Farm from the top bar of the gate, and in its place painted Animal Farm. This was to be the name of the farm from now onwards. After this, they went back to the farm buildings, where Snowball and Napoleon sent for a ladder, which they caused to be set against the end wall of the big bar. They explained that by their studies of the past 3 months, the pigs had succeeded in reducing the principles of animalism to 7 commandments. These 7 commandments will not now be inscribed on the wall. They will form an unalterable law by which all the animals on Animal Farm must live forever after. With some difficulty, for it is not easy for a pig to balance himself on a ladder, Snowball climbed up and set to work, with Squealer a few rungs below him holding the paint pot. The commandments were written on the tarred wall in great white letters that could be read 30 yards away. They ran thus, the 7 commandments. Whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. Whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend. No animal shall wear clothes. No animal shall sleep in a bed. No animal shall drink alcohol. No animal shall kill any other animal. All animals are equal. It was very neatly written, and except that friend was written friend, and one of the S's was the wrong way around. The spelling was correct all the way through. Snowball read it aloud for the benefit of the others. All the animals nodded in complete agreement, and the clever ones at once began to learn the commandments by heart. Now, comrades, cried Snowball, throwing down the paintbrush, to the hayfield. Let us make it a point of honor to get in the harvest more quickly than Jones and his men could do. But at this moment the three cows, who had seemed uneasy for some time past, set up a loud lowing. They had not been milked for 24 hours, and their udders were almost bursting. After a little thought, the pigs sent for buckets, and milked the cows fairly successfully, their trotters being well adapted to this task. Soon there were 5 buckets of frothing creamy milk, at which many of the animals looked with considerable interest. "What is going to happen to all that milk?" said someone. "Jones used sometimes to mix some of it in our mash," said one of the hens. "Never mind the milk, comrades," cried Napoleon, placing himself in front of the buckets. "That will be attended to. The harvest is more important. Comrade Snowball will lead the way. I shall follow in a few minutes. Forward, comrades, the hay is waiting." So the animals trooped down into the hayfield to begin the harvest, and when they came back in the evening, it was noticed that the milk had disappeared.
Okay. All right. So what do you think? What do you think so far?
Um, I want to know what happened to that milk.
Okay, so who so far, so who are the leaders?
Napoleon and Snowball.
Okay. Okay. Um and I mean Major died early on. So, but he planted all this into their heads, right? About what do you think of the commandments? Remember those. And we'll go back.
Yes, they seem
And what
pretty
yeah, what do you
fair.
think of these? Does it sound
Pretty.
good?
It sounds good on paper.
Okay. It does, right? I mean, it's everybody's equal, and the bad things like alcohol. No animal can do this. They're not to wear clothes. They're not to become human at all, so they don't sleep in the beds, and that's why they're saying, they left the house like we're going to kind of use it or leave it like as a museum. Okay, what do you think of oh God. What do you think of Molly?
She's stupid.
The horse, the one that likes, she likes to look at herself. She likes the ribbon and she likes sugar. Okay, I mean her whole thing, even with this whole rebellion, is there going to be any sugar? Am I still going to have bows or ribbons or whatever she was talking about? Um, any and what do you think about them? Running off the people. Any thought on
Mm,
that?
running of the people.
Yeah, running off the people off the land, right? So Mr. Jones is
That
gone.
was unexpected, but it worked,
Uh-huh.
and the revolution was pretty successful.
Okay. So and as it sits right now, that's where they are, right? They're in charge of this farm and they believe they can do whatever humans could have done on that farm. So what do you think
Yes.
about when they basically got rid of all the things that were um I guess evil to them or bad to them. The whips, all the things that the master, Mr. Jones, or other humans would use on them. Was that like a freeing type of moment? Do you think they felt like how slaves would feel like when they were set free?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Can you think of any opinion?
Well, um, I think they might not know as much as the humans of how to govern
Okay.
or to work out all the things
Okay.
like
No,
harvesting.
Okay, there's gonna, I mean, we're just building up to this. And like you said, we have the two right now, we have like kind of the two main characters of being Snowball and Napoleon. And you're gonna start seeing in the next few chapters um how people or how they, well, I can't give too much away. But how things are gonna start changing real quick. What do you think of the sign of now making it, instead of Manor Farm, Animal Farm?
That explains the title,
Uh-huh.
and it's straight to the point.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
So it's pretty good title.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Any? I know it's really early on. Any predictions of anything so far?
Um, it is going to fail.
It's going to fail.
Yes, because
Okay.
why would anyone write a book that's just it can't just end here. If it was a good ending, the book would end here. But it was a bad ending. There are still a lot of book left.
Yeah, we have to have a conflict. Or several. Okay, no, we will stop here. Any so we'll pick up chapter. I figured we'd be able to get chapter 3 in. Any questions before we go? Hmm.
Mm, will
Anything?
you read Warriors?
Will I read it?
Yeah.
Um, maybe I might read maybe the first book. I might do that. But I've got so many that fantasy really, and that kind of genre is not usually very appealing for me. And even like the not like witchcraft, but like the demons, devils, all that kind of stuff, and fantasy. What's the other big popular genre? I usually don't do that. I like suspense and a lot of crime type stories and stuff like that too, but a lot of suspense, a lot of twist and turn. Not real big into the sci-fi as well. My husband is, but not. I'm not. But I may. I mean, if a student recommends something, I usually will look at it or maybe read one. Would I read probably all of them, or or get really heavily involved in it? Probably not, because I just have too many others. But I might take a look at them, maybe the first one. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Hey, with that, hey Z, have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next week. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye, Z.